All right, so I think we are good to go. Today is 19th November 2021. So we are in Plus API providers meeting for IBM Cloud. A couple of things we want to go through today. So first thing is I'll probably take you through a demo what we worked on last couple of weeks, basically the cluster CTL support for IBM Cloud, and then also the Tilt tool for the development, right? So we'll just spend more time there, like because this tool is very useful for developing purpose. Like if you, let's say if you're making any changes in the code, so this will really help in terms of making those automatic deploy whenever the change happens to code, right? So we'll discuss about those things, and then also we will go through the backlog what we have. So any further agenda, if you guys want to discuss, please append the list. Okay. So first thing is cluster CTL. So cluster CTL, as most of you know, it's the command from cluster API repository. So cluster API repository is like a parent repository for the entire cluster API project. So what really happens is like they have cluster CTL command utility. So this is like your client command mainly used for deploying the management components, management cluster components. Basically, like if you take any cluster API project, so there are two components, right? So you have the management cluster, and then you have the workload cluster. So management cluster is mainly meant for deploying and then managing the management controllers which runs on your cluster API. So mainly, let's say if you create anything in your cluster API resource, like let's say you want to create a Kubernetes cluster or whatever. So internally, what will happens is it will generate some sort of configurations for bringing up that cluster. Like for example, let's say you use the kubeadm command for creating clusters. So someone need to generate that kubeadm or kubeadmin, the configurations and then startup scripts and then whatnot, right? So all that bootstrapping and then all that script will be taken care in the management. So some of those controllers are here. So you can see here, like the controllers, like multiple controllers. You can see controllers like clusters. So what really happens when you create a cluster resource? So all that, and then machine controller also you can see here, right? So and machine deployment, of course. So there are a bunch of APIs here, so you can look at the APIs. We can look at sometime later. But so the thing is, like it got bunch of APIs in some of these like different versions, like the latest version is V1 beta 1. So bunch of custom resources or APIs, and then also the controller for handling those things, right? So that's how it is. And then also we have bootstrap, and then it's a kubeadm. You can see some of those kubeadm controllers are written here. So mainly for how your kube ADM configurations get generated, right? So that's all written here. And then we made push, or we did push the changes to this repository for listing the IBM Cloud as one of the cluster API provider. So that happened last week sometime. Probably I can show you the PRs here. Right. So there are a bunch of PRs got merged last week. So you can see here, right? So this is IBM Cloud Provider support for master branch. So this is mainly for main branch, and they have different versions. Like that's the reason. So we have pushed again for the like V1 branch, and then also 0.4 branch. So V1 branch we did submit, and then we backported this change to release 0.4. So release 0.4 is the one what we are using at the moment with our repository, because we are still with V1 so we're still with a V1 Alpha 4 version, and then this is handled in release 0.4. So that's the reason we had to like backport the patch back to like main, and then after that release 1.0 and then release 0.4. So any questions? I'll just take you through the demo of clusterCTL deployment which supports IBM Cloud. Any questions before we get started? All right. So I will switch my screen. Just give me a minute. Right. So yeah. So here is the repository which contains the cluster API code, and initially I will just build the make clusterCTL. So what it does is it will just build. So I just checked out myself to release 0.4 because the binary is not really shipped or released with the patch. So we have to just compile this clusterCTL with manually, and then this will generate actually a pin clusterCTL command here. Then what we can do is we can start running the command side. So in order to see whether our support got added or not, I think we can do that on click. Here comes. This is CTL config repositories. Should list all the repositories supported. So here you can see that the IBM Cloud is listing here. So this is the one what we that you made changes. So what it really means is what it does is it will look for. Of course, it will also list some of the other providers. So anything, any component cluster API is considered as provider here. So they have a different providers like code provider, and that code provider is mainly meant for handling your the basic APIs. And then they have Bootstrap providers. So this is mainly meant for how do you bootstrap your Kubernetes cluster. So one classic example is kubeadm, right? So they have other different providers also which works for different configurations. And then of course the control plane is mainly responsible for how do you deploy your control plane of type, right? So mostly we are going to use the kubeadm. So and then Bootstrap also we use kubeadm, and then CodeProd, of course, this is required for all the operations. And then infrastructure prod is mainly meant for deploying your infrastructure, right? So that is like deploying your machines into cloud. All right. So and then this also lists like where is the repository link, and then the file used for deploying that infrastructure or for deploying that provider. So in this case, infrastructure.component under this folder, right? So I just click this, and then you can see here the latest alpha version, and then I also kind of attached the assets here, right? So under assets, you can see like there are multiple files. We'll go through some of these files later. So what really happens is this is the infrastructure component file, which is important for deploying your management clusters, for IBM Cloud, right? Or the whatever controllers for IBM Cloud API. So probably can take a look at it. So this is the file used for just right. Yeah, so this is the file which contains like the entire different YAMLs with which is responsible for deploying your CRD for IBM Cloud, and then also it contains like namespace, CRD, and then if you go like the CRD is really huge, of course, and then also it does deploy your secret, and then cluster role and cluster role writing whatever. So the service also, and then deployment of course. So this is a deployment for deploying your the controller, right? So we can see here the release version is mentioned like 0.1 alpha 2, right? So And this is using at the moment the staging environment image. Okay, and without any further delay, we can see how the cluster CTL. But any questions, meanwhile? All right. And without any further delay, what we can do is like we will see how the cluster CTL command will really take care of executing some of these clusters. So what really we can do is see, first of all, we need to have okay, so we need to set these parameters like the A key is the another variable required for accessing this or deploying this management cluster, so that I can I think I have set it with the proper credential anyway. So I'll just start deploying it. See, another part is like we can just use this without any version, but the trouble there is that we have all these alpha releases, so the command doesn't really work if you don't have like no, if you don't mention the versions, always it looks for the version, version without alpha release. So that's the reason. So we just need to have this version appended at the moment. So later we can probably after the GA, right? So once we release the proper images, so we can just remove this whatever version from this cluster. Right? So we don't need to specify that version. All right, so I'll probably start deploying this and see if it really goes through. Yeah, so this is the like what really happens is, so we can do one thing. So we can split this and then can what I have done is I'll just doing kubectl. Okay, I think it already deployed, right? So you can see here like bunch of different controllers it's deployed. So again, Bootstrap, kubeadm Bootstrap, and then CAPI control is mainly for the core CAPI controllers, which is really meant for handling your all the objects of like a cluster API, and you can see that everything is up and running. So I'm just running inside kind cluster. So once you run this particular command, right? So what it does is it will just create the core. It will deploy the core. You can see here, right? So this is the core provider, which is Cluster API, and this is a Bootstrap provider of type kubeadm, and this is like control plane for kubeadm, and after that it does deploy infrastructure provider of type IBM Cloud. But also you can see a get provider if you do, right? So that will list all the provider got deployed here. So with the version, right? So you can see here the IBM Cloud provider of type infrastructure provider and the Bootstrap and then all that, and then with that version. So yeah, the reason for 0.4 because we are using the release 0.4 CTL, so that's the reason. So if you use the main or the latest branch, so it will try pulling beta some v1.1100. Okay, so so any questions? And also it does deploy a bunch of CRDs for handling your machines in IBM Cloud, and then of course the cluster API cluster and a lot of other CRDs which comes with cluster API core component. All right, so any questions? I'll pause for a second. Okay. If no further questions, so this is mainly meant for till this time. So we just initialize or deploy the management cluster, and after this, like so, this whatever we deployed, right? It's more of like the controller which is responsible for creating the Kubernetes cluster. It will not create any sort of cluster by default. So for that, you need to generate like your own spec for creating your workload clusters. So workload cluster is what really meant is that Kubernetes clusters on top of Kubernetes, right? So if you want to create any Kubernetes clusters, so you end up creating the workload cluster, right? So that cluster will get created, and then the whole the management cluster what really we have deployed. So that will take care of deploying the machines and then VMs in the Power VS for deploying the Kubernetes cluster. And then probably what I will do is I'll cover the Power VS. So again, like in Power VS cluster, right? So there are a bunch of prerequisite variables we need to have. I think Ramoli also already explored some of these components. So these are bunch of the different environment variable we needed at the moment for deploying the Kubernetes cluster on Power VS. So first one is like the SSH key name for for deploying your VMs, and then VIP. See, what I'm doing is like I'm using the VIP here, VIP mechanism. So maybe the VIP is like your what do you call the virtual IP set for your different master nodes. So let's say like in Kubernetes clusters, so there are different ways of doing load balancing, right? So you can have external load balancing for sending the traffic to the respective master, but in this case we are not we are not having active sort of a load balancing here. So I think then of course like the Kubernetes will be running like multiple masters, but we will talk to only one master for any of the user traffic, right? So that's how it is going to the traffic will traverse into the Kubernetes cluster to the master. And I have this one VIP created, so the VIP will be like load balanced across machines. Not really load balanced. I think the VIP will be set to one of the master, and then the traffic will be sent to that that particular Kubernetes master, and then that is how the whole traffic will flow. So in case if one master gets destroyed, and the VIP will be switched to another another master, so within the cluster. And then I mean, these are the three parameters required for setting the VIP. So you guys can dig deeper later on this. And another very important argument is like the image ID what we use for Power VS. So this is the image. I mean, this is not like any of your generic CentOS image. So this is a special image what we create for CAPI project. So mainly it will contain some of the prerequisite required for spinning up the cluster. Like you will have the kubelet and then kubeadm and some of the pre-built images we push it. So I mean there is a catch here. So the image should have like at least the image should work with the all the prerequisites, whatever we install in this image should work with the version you're trying. So we have seen some conflict there. So maybe I think we should try generating these images for each release or branch or whatever, and then mention a standard image we're going to use for the customer. So that's something we need to take care. And so of course the service ID, we need to mention where we want to spin up our VMs. So at the moment, like we don't really create service or VS service instance internally. So, but that's something we can explore in the future. So how do we create service also while deploying this cluster, right? So that's something can be explored. And then network. So this is the static network at the moment. So we can also think about the dynamic or DHCP network going forward. So I mean, some of these things we should also we should have created like and these are like prerequisites. So we should have all these things created before even running this command, right? So some of those documentation is missing at the moment, and probably I need help from you folks to create that documentation and then ensure we have an end-to-end flow which anyone can follow this, right? So I understand the prerequisites are really huge here. So I think, but the idea is like going forward, the future releases will probably reduce these prerequisites and then see how it goes, right? So for that we need more time anyway. So and then of course like these are the environment variables we are setting, and then followed by the cluster CTL command what we use, and then This is the generate command, and then so this is the name for the cluster we are using, and then flavor also you can supply. The, the flavor, what really happens is like as you can see here, there are multiple templates we created. So this particular command really kind of use these templates for defining the clusters. So the Power you can see here the flavor. So if you don't specify any flavor here, what it does is it will deploy, I mean, it will take this template. So this template is mainly meant for VPC Next-Gen. So this is the template meant for Power VS. And then we need to also mention the Kubernetes version here, like the what version we are using for deployment, and then number of control planes. So the number of control plane is really meant for a number of master nodes you want to deploy, and then worker nodes, like how many worker nodes you want to deploy with the cluster, right? So any questions?
Yeah, Manju, I have one question.
Yeah.
You told that the image is added with so many components, right? Inbuilt components. So
Yeah.
is there any tool exist for building that image itself, or how it's connected?
Yeah, so good question. So we do have one project called Image Builder in Kubernetes. So that contains bunch of Ansible scripts and then whatnot for building the images. So yeah, I mean, it does contain a lot of instructions, and then most of the instructions really, works for x86 and then other cloud. But unfortunately, we don't have straightforward instructions written for IBM Cloud or Power VS. So the idea is to that I have some instructions like tuned instructions works for Power VS. I think I'll have to even like I'll take an action item for creating that particular documentation for how to create that image, right? But yeah, I mean, at least we have scripts and then whatnot. So we just need to have a bunch of instructions to create this image and then whatnot. Yeah, the idea is like, see, what I'm planning to do is like, we'll have these instructions also documented in the project, and then we will have these images created and pushed somewhere in the COS, cloud object storage bucket in IBM Cloud, and then we'll make them, public so that anyone can just use it, right? So no one like, I don't want at least for the user who is using it for testing, so they can just import these images directly to the instance and they can start working, right? So that's what the goal is. But yeah, of course, like we need to have more documentation for which explains how the image creation happens.
Okay. So similar
Okay,
to
so
the VIP and all right. So how did you get that particular IP? So
oh yeah, so good question. So again, like we have some instructions written. So yeah, I
okay.
mean, yeah. So like we need to document some of these steps. Like
Okay.
yeah, most of these stuff I have already given sort of a KT to Amulya. So probably Amulya can spend some time documenting some of these things so that it will be useful for others also.
Okay.
I hope it's a fair expectation, Amulya.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think this project lacks of right now it is a lack of documentation. So I think we need to write a lot of documentation for sure. So definitely, I mean, we will spend some time documenting some of these things. All right. So any questions? Any other questions? All right. So if no further questions, what I will do is I'll quickly run this command. So if you look at, right, so I'm not referring anything like from that IBM Cloud repository. I'm just running this command in the cluster API project itself. And it does like goes and then fetches this file, right? So this file, and then so what really the file looks like. And so you can see here the file looks like it does contain some of this like cluster name and a lot of these variables here, right? So you can also see that if you go back here, so the bunch of variable it will have, right? So the template will have some of these variables written, right? So you can see here VIP external and then VIP and then whatnot. So VIP and all this, right? So all these things will get replaced when we run this command. So what really happens is like this clusterctl generate command, it will like based on the flavor or whatever we mention, it will fetch the cloud provider repository from here, the released one. It will download this and then it will feed all these variables into that template and then it will generate a YML. So I'm just generating that, redirecting that YML to a spec YML here. So this got generated here, obvious fix that you can see here. And if you search for some of these parameters, like let's say I can search this, right? So, so you can see here, right? So some of these like variables got replaced with the actual, the value. So now user can just go ahead and then apply minus F and then, yeah, I mean, definitely this may not really work because some of these variables are like getting used, but at least what I can tell you is I can just deploy this, but I can show you that right, it is, at least it is creating a machines with of like whatever we have created, right? So the control plane here, like initially it will create one control plane and then it creates like bunch of other worker nodes of like the count is 3 here. So the count is 3 here for the control plane also, but for the control plane, what it does is it will deploy one control plane and then later it will join the, once we have a proper first control plane, then it will deploy the subsequent control planes and it will add into the first control plane. I mean, joins the first control plane. I'm damn sure we'll hit some error here because the infrastructure is not really, I don't think some of these values are really valid. Or maybe describe and give you some information like what really happening, but I think we cannot really wait for this to complete because this is going to take a lot of time. Meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll just delete everything because I want to give demo for the other tilt one. So KGP minus K, everything is gone, but still it's getting terminated. So we'll just wait for, yeah. So this is as good as that, like, just run this command, clusterctl delete all, this will delete everything, right? So even I think it will also delete the machines now. This is somewhat a pain, but anyway, I think what I'll do is like because this need some more work for making this plain, but what I will do is I'll delete the kind cluster itself so that, because this will take some time for deleting the cluster, so I don't want to. Okay, so I'll just delete the kind cluster itself so that we get a fresh cluster for the next demo. So any questions before we go ahead and then talk about the next demo? Yeah, the intention here is to give, for at least for this talk, right? So I just want to give more emphasis on the clusterctl, and then the other part, like the cluster API for IBM Cloud and how it works, and then all that we can probably take another time, like we can go through that. But quickly, I just want to cover the usability part of the clusterctl and then tilt command for the development purpose, right? All right, so any questions before we get started with the tilt? Yeah, so Cluster API project, they got a very good documentation. So this is the landing page for Cluster API. So you can see here, right? So if you click here, so it will take you to Cluster API documentation. I just switched to 0.4 version. And so, yeah, by the way, this is the documentation we also want to have for our project. So we'll work towards getting a similar sort of a documentation created for the project, right? So that's something we need to work on. All right, so the entire detail about the tilt is present here. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, tilt is mainly meant for, let's say you make some changes in the project here, right? So for example, a cluster API project, you change something, and then the time taken for the image building and then actually running everything in the Kubernetes cluster, it is little complicated. In order to make everyone's life easy, so they have this utility called tilt. So what it does is basically like, it contains some sort of a configuration saying that, what exactly needs to be deployed and then whatnot. But what really the idea behind this is that once we start the tilt configuration or tilt process, what really happens is like if there is any changes in the code, right? So automatically it will build your code with that change and it will get deployed into your Kubernetes cluster, and then you can really test that ongoing, right? So that's what it is really meant, and it is very handy for development purpose. So for that, it expects like creating one tilt settings JSON file for your provider. So what I have done is,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Manju.
yeah, so on this particular file we need to create, and then also we need to have a key mentioned here. And then this actually points to the other repository we're going to use, the cluster API provider, which is like it is like the one directly behind the cluster API. So this is the project we are going to use, and so you just need to create this file with the provider what we are planning to use, right? So the IBM Cloud provider is based mainly for the infrastructure, and then other two are like Bootstrap provider, and then control plane provider, and then whatnot. So once we create these files, we just need to go there here in this cluster API and then go a tilt up. Right, so the tilt command you can find in instruction how to install tilt and all. So here you can find some of those instructions like what needs to be installed as a prerequisite. So, but the idea is like once you start running, what really happens is it will just go and install everything by its own, right? So when they have this tilt module and then whatnot, everything got created. I mean, like they have a flow created here in Cluster API, what needs to be deployed and all. So I'll not go through all that in detail, but what it really does is like whatever I have shown you, like via cluster CTL, it got deployed, right? So everything will happen via the tilt file now. So it got a nice UI also. So what really happens is like it will show you like what it is doing and all. So it does like go through certain like internal tools like customize, build, and then whatnot. So which will read all of your repositories, and then it will probably it will just replace some of those environment variables and then whatnot. So especially for replacing your API key and some of those versions and then whatnot will be get replaced with customize command. And then so I think this will take some time for even building. Also what it does, it will also build your Docker images locally, and then it will push to your kind cluster, and then it will use it. I think we can wait for a couple of minutes to start, and then we can see how it really goes. So any questions, Nimai?
Yes, Manju. And previously there was a registry. Like, what is the purpose of the registry which you pointed to the your?
Oh yeah. So this is just basically they use this. Let's say if you want to push your image to some registry, and then we can also use that. But I just pointed to some text or some registry in some text. It's not necessarily that it should be existing. So it will be very handy in case if you want to run a local registry and then use that registry with current cluster, right? So that will be really helpful. So where you can push your, I mean, the deployment will be really fast when you use the local registry for your kind cluster. So I can send you some of those instructions later. So you can see this, right? So you can see here, so right. So this is the instruction it is giving you. So in case if you want to run the local registry, right? So where you can build your image and push it, and then you can pull that image in the kind cluster and then you test it so on the fly. So that becomes really handy. But yeah, I mean, as of now, this is just dummy registry I have mentioned. So all the images will be tagged with this registry, but it will not push. So what it does is it will kind of like tag with this, and then it will load these images into your kind cluster and then run it. It's like more of a like building this image and then pushing into. I can show you the content like what it does. So here you can see here, right? So it builds the image with this tag. So you can see here in the beginning, it's the registry name what I mentioned, and then followed by the image name. And then in the kind cluster, so there's a logic where you can what you can do is like you can build your own images, and you can load the images into the kind cluster, and then you can start the deployment of controller from that kind cluster. So that's very friendly in the kind, right? So if you want to test the local images, that's very helpful in the kind cluster. But this is like more of a like build and then load into kind cluster will take some time. But that's the reason it was giving us a hint saying that if you're running a kind cluster, so you can also use the local registry where it will push the images directly to that registry, and then kind cluster will directly pull that image, right? Instead of like build and load will take some effort or some time for loading and all inside the kind cluster. So did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah, so you can see that with tilt, right? So there's bunch of the controller or Docker images got built. So here at least there are 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So all these 4 controls got built and running. So you can see also the logs for those controllers here in a single window. And also if you want to, like, let's say if you want to a restart, so you can just click here and then you can restart it. So that will just kind of like rebuild and restart happens. So you can see here the manual rebuild and restart happens on that particular controller, right? So then I think this will rebuild and then pushed, and then deploy is nothing but deploy your the YMLs, the affected YMLs with kubectl on to the kind. So it is as good as that. Like if you want to refresh something, you can do a manual refresh also. It says when it got refreshed, and then followed by it will also list the logs from that controller, right? So, and then the interesting thing I just want to show, yeah, I mean, you can also see the IBM controller logs here, right? Yeah, see here, you can see some of those logs written here from the controller. See, one quick update or one quick demo, what we can do is, let's say I want to make some changes and want to see the deployment happens in the live cluster, right? So what I can do is like in the main Go. So this is where the like the entry point for your controller, right? So I'll just add probably some printf to see how effective this is. Right? Maybe I'll add some. We'll add some stars or something like that just to highlight this. Right, so I have added a println and this imported FMT package. All good. So once I just save this, so the trigger happens here, right? So you can see here one file got changed. So you can also see that in the UI. So you can see that it's getting updated. It says that one file got changed, and then you can see this is the Docker image of the controller. So here it says that one file got changed in so and so, and it is rebuilding that manager, and then it will also kind of shut down your controller, then it restarts your controller again in the pod, right? So you can see here, right? So the hello world, what I printed, like what I made modification, you can see quickly in the Kubernetes cluster. So this is this command output is all the way coming from your what do you call the Kubernetes cluster. So that we can confirm. Right, so the controller what we have seen here is KGP -A if I do. This is your Kubernetes client cluster where your controller is running. So you can also see those logs, what I was showing you. KL minus kubectl log and then namespace, of course. So this is the main headache, right? So most of the time you'll end up doing this minus C and then whatnot, right? So that's very pain. But here you can see, right? So this is what it is, right? So you can see the pod logs. So all that. So all this magic happens, and then all that you can see in the ready-made in the TLT UI. And then yeah, we can see we can probably just remove this change and then maybe just save it. And then you'll see the controller again gets restarted with whatever the changes, right? So here it is updating. So it got compiled within 11 seconds and then whatever. Then even the Docker build will is finished within 4.8 seconds. And then everything got reloaded into your client cluster. Then you don't see that hello message anymore, the controller. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I wanted to show you today. So any questions on that message gone here as well? Any questions? Any questions or doubts? I hope it is useful. Feel free to I think if you're doing development on Cluster API, you should really definitely explore this and then use it. So that will help you folks managing your code or whatever modification you want to do. It will be very handy. So, right. All right. So if no further questions, what I will do is I'll switch over to a backlog. I mean, we do have plenty of backlogs here, so feel free to go through them and then let me know in case if you need any, like if you're interested in any of those, definitely go through them and then assign yourself, and then you can talk to me also in case if you want to take a look at it and then see how you can help them and help me or help project. Right?
Yeah,
Secrets.
I
Yep.
have a question over there. So regarding that moving to alpha to beta, so I
Yeah.
see there is issue created. So
This one, right?
yeah, I think we should move faster, right? Because I see the other providers are moving very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so we need, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the reason for calling this meeting. And then, yeah, I mean, feel free to participate in any of this. Right? I completely agree what you say. Yes, we should move. There's no doubt about it. So, but what I'm trying to do is at least we need to have some documentation at least in place to tell how these things works, right? I mean, of course, we can create multiple branches and then we can backport some of those documentations and whatnot. But definitely we need to start exploring. So that is not going to happen in a day or two, right? So I think once we start exploring, so we might need some time in terms of adopting the latest version. But yeah, definitely. So let me know in case if you or someone interested, so we can work on that.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to start with that. So instead of asking it.
Yeah, we will discuss some of those things. So anything else?
Nothing much.
Anything else from anyone? Yeah, I'll also create a bunch of tasks. What I'm talking about, like the image creation task is missing, and then none of the tasks are missing. So we'll start creating those tasks and then start working on those things. Anything else from anyone? All right, I just stop sharing the meeting, and then if no further question, we can close the call. I mean, I'll update some of these like links what I used in today's demo in the meeting note. So, any questions from anyone else before we close the call?
I'm good, Manju.
Not from me, though.
Not from me.
Okay, thanks, folks. Have a nice day. Bye bye.